Hello everyone, welcome to our second National of English Seminar in English Language Education Department. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to our honorable guests and distinguished guests. Our honorable guests are the Honorable Head of Major English Language Education Department, Dr. Siluh Nyoman Siryadi, SPD, SEG, MPD, the Honorable Secretary of the Major of English Language Education Department, Iputu Andri Suhardiana, SPD MPD. Our Honorable Speaker, Ida Ayu Oka Purnami, SPD MPD. Niketut Rizka Dewi Prawita, SSM HUM, and all the respectful participants of today's seminar. It is my pleasure to welcome all the participants for the one-day seminar. I also welcome all the eminent speakers who have come here from all over the country for sharing their knowledge and past experience with us. I am Rico Surya as the Master of Ceremony of this seminar and the moderator of this seminar as well. On behalf of the English Language of Education Department, I welcome to our second seminar of the language and linguistics of this department. We invite you to actively participate in questioning, sharing thoughts, and so forth. So without any further ado, please let me introduce our first speaker, Idayu Oka Purnami, SPD MPD. Our first speaker is one of the active lecturer in the English Language Education Department and has a warm heart and a kindful teacher and teaching about the vocabulary start from the basic until the advanced ones. Our first speaker had graduated her bachelor degree at Saraswati University on March in 2015. And even she still continue her education to magister education at Ganesha University from 25th September until she graduated on August in 2017. Furthermore, she still continue her doctoral degree at the same university and it will start on the September 2020. Our first speaker also has plenty of experience in job and organization as well. For the job experience, on June until September in 2014, she had worked at the Art in English as an English tutor. On June until January in 2015 till 2016, she had worked at SMK Negeri 1 as a public relationship teacher. On January until April in 2015 until 2016, she had worked at the same school, SMK Negeri 1 Negeri Tegalalang, as the English teacher. On April until September in 2016, she had worked at the Little Star of School Sanur as a kindergarten teacher. On June until September in 2018, she had worked at PT Sinar Bali Bina Karya or general contractor as a personal assistant of Hindus. On September in 2018 until now, our first speaker works at the University of Hindus Negeri Igusti Bagus Sugri Denpasar as the active lecturer in English Language Education Department. For the organization experience in 2018 until 2019, ever becoming Paguyuban Truna Bali. In 2014 until 2015, ever becoming a secretary of UKM English Club and Mahasaraswati University, and many more of the experience and achievement that she has. Please welcome our first speaker of this event, Ida Ayu Oka Purnami, SPD MPD, for the first speaker. The floor is yours. Okay, thank you so much for our master ceremony who explained all my curriculum vitae from my education, for my job experience of and my organization as well. So thank you for the achievement and greetings from that. So I think I will start explain about the language and literature. Language and literature is about the two things is has any connection to each other because before we learn about the language literature, we must to learn about the language. For example, like language is a word or from a word become a sentence. So we basically learn in language in literature, we learn about the word that we can find in language. So the word, like for example, house. The house it will be is like a root in a sentence, like a root for the root. This root or this word can be we add a prefix, suffix, and even affix. So for the suffix we put something a little a word, maybe just a smallest word, we call often call morpheme. So we can meet this term in language in literature. So will be something like this will be discussed more even further in literature. So in language we'll just explain how the word become a sentence, how we arrange a word become a will produce the word become a sentence and become from the basic start from the basic one until the complex one. So I think that a little bit explanation of it. So pardon, would you mind if I interrupt you? Sorry, can you explain more detail about the language? Because I think I kind of missed something important in that explanation before. Yes. Can you wait a moment because I need to explain this material until the end. So can you just wait a little for a while and I'm almost end of my explanation. Okay, thank you very much of our first speaker, Idayo Kapurnami SPD MPD, for sharing a knowledgeable and precious thing about this topic, which is about the linguistic and literature. Thank you very much. For the audience, I open the Q&A session for the three questioner. If you have a question about this topic, relate to this topic which the first speaker has been given to us, and you can ask that. But first, the only thing you need to do is raise your hand if you want to ask something. Thank you. Excuse me. Can I ask about the function of literature and the language? Is there any connection about these two, about the language and the literature, about in the function part? Can you explain it more detail about that? I'm sorry, I wanna ask you something. Well, what would you suggest if you say the language and literature we can find on a book? The most information, the complete information of those two things we can find on the book. What would you suggest if we don't have any kind of book? Can we just use a book or any kind PDF or article? Can be the sort is the same as the book, just like complete or concrete material in that? Is there any possible in that? So it's really if we don't have any book of that, or we don't uh, can't find it any in library or any other places, what would you suggest about that? I'm sorry, I want to ask something. If it's possible for you to explain or re-explain about the language part, which is in the definition part, because I didn't quite understand that. Can you explain it more detail or more slowly, maybe, so I can grasp the point? Is it okay? Is it possible for you to explain it more? So I think if there's no question no more, so I will conclude all the material of for our first speaker. So the conclusion is of the language and literature. As a human beings learn to use a second language, they also develop a new mode of thinking, feeling, acting, and a second identity. The new language ego intertwined with the second language can easily create a learner's sense of fragility, a defensiveness, and raising on exhibitions. So, in other words, the language itself directly help the development of the young learners in critical thinking, behaving, acting, and even feeling of something. So that's all about the conclusion of this material. So I think I'll close the material, close the seminar as well. Thank you for joining us in this seminar. Thank you for all the speaker and also the honorable guests and distinguished guests, all the eminent guests. All of you is our great people who attend this seminar. So I'm Rico Surya as the moderator and the master of ceremony. Close this event and see you on the next event of the English Language Education Department. Thank you.